All right, get ready, because we're going deep into a world of honey, bears, and a little mystery.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, think like rolling green hills, Ireland.
Okay.
A sweet aroma of honey just hanging in the air. And this really unique family dynamic
Uh-huh.
brewing over at Furry O'Mara's honey farm.
Okay.
Our sources really paint a pretty vivid picture of this place, and I'm really excited to kind of unpack it all, with you and with everyone listening.
It's a very fascinating blend of like heartwarming charm, but also like potential conflict.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it all starts with our main character,
Yeah.
right? Furry O'Mara.
Okay.
This isn't just any honey entrepreneur.
Right.
He's got this really unique bond with his bees, like knows every single one by name.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking millions of bees here.
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the source material hints at like a specific technique.
Oh, really?
Almost like a mnemonic system for bees, of course.
Wow.
Which really speaks to his meticulous nature. His dedication to understanding each member of his hive, even.
That's incredible. I mean, it's one thing to, really value and appreciate your workers.
Right.
But to have that level of like personal connection with each one,
Yeah.
that's really something special.
And it all ties to his philosophy, the happiest bees make the finest honey.
Oh, I like that.
It's not just a saying. He's created this whole system, like around that.
So let's break down the system a little bit.
Sure.
We've got, for starters, the Bee Workers Council.
Yes.
Which,
not your average honey farm.
not something you see every day, exactly.
Right, yeah. It's this fascinating example of cooperative management. So the bees actually have a voice in how the farm is run.
Oh, wow.
The council will bring their concerns to Furry, negotiate things like hive placement, flower variety in the surrounding fields.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a level of collaboration that, goes way beyond your typical like employer-employee relationship.
So Furry's not just like a honey maker. He's like a bee whisperer.
He is.
And it's clearly working for him, too, because his honey is like world famous.
It is.
Not just in Ireland. People rave about it,
It's all about the nuance, you see. You've got the happy bees, the carefully chosen flowers, the traditional methods he uses.
Okay.
It all contributes to the unique character of Furry's honey.
Okay, so we've got this idyllic picture, right?
We do.
Successful honey farm, happy bees, a bear who knows all their names.
What could possibly go wrong?
And then things get a little interesting.
Yes, the arrival of the mysterious letter.
Yes.
It really throws a wrench in this whole peaceful routine.
Totally.
It's addressed in purple crayon.
Oh, right.
Postmarked Jakarta, Indonesia.
Wow. So a world away.
A world away.
From this quiet Irish countryside.
Exactly.
And we know it's from his nephew, Brosnan, right?
That's right.
But the letter itself is still kind of a mystery. Like, what do we actually know about its contents?
But that's the clever part. The source material really only reveals the sender, obviously, and the fact that it's about a work placement.
Right.
So it leaves us wondering,
Yeah.
Is Brosnan simply looking for a job?
Right.
Is he running away from something?
Okay.
Does he even have any interest in honey?
Uh-huh.
It creates this sense of like anticipation.
Yeah.
Almost like a ticking time bomb.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we delve into that potential time bomb,
Sure.
let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Get to know our bear in charge a little bit better.
All right.
What else can you tell us about Furry, besides his bee whispering abilities?
Well, he's not just all sweetness and honey.
Oh.
He's described as a former bear hug champion,
Oh, wow.
strong and a bit gruff around the edges,
Yeah.
especially as he's getting older.
Right.
Yeah.
Picture him in his thick lime green sweater,
Okay.
delivering honey with his trusty mare, Queenie. Uh-huh. Through the streets of Dublin.
I love it.
A touch of old school charm,
Mm-hmm.
but also maybe a little set in his ways.
Exactly. There's definitely a hint of cantankerousness.
Yeah.
A hint that maybe he likes things done a certain way,
Okay.
which I think makes the arrival of a city slicker nephew all the more intriguing.
Absolutely. Speaking of Brosnan,
Yeah.
we've got some interesting details about him, too.
We do.
Jazz music, late mornings, paw stands.
Uh-huh.
He sounds like a very different kind of bear.
A very different bear. And that's
Yeah.
where the potential for conflict comes in, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe even like delightful comedy.
Yeah.
Imagine this laid-back, jazz-loving polar bear trying to adjust to like the early mornings,
Right.
the meticulous routines of Furry's honey farm.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for some, interesting clashes,
Okay.
but maybe also some unexpected connections.
Okay, so we've set the scene.
Yeah.
Introduced our main players.
Mm-hmm.
And hinted at the potential fireworks that might erupt
Right.
when these two personalities collide.
Strictly.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to unpack here. It's like two different worlds are going to collide.
Yeah.
On one hand, you've got Furry, right? Rooted in tradition,
Huh.
master of his craft, deeply connected to like the land and his deeds.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other, you've got Brosnan, city nephew,
Yeah.
bringing in this like whirlwind of modern ideas and, well, a penchant for pawstans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a classic fish out of water setup, right?
it is. It is.
But I think that's kind of what makes it so compelling.
Precisely. And it really begs the question, will Brosnan embrace this new world?
Yeah.
Or will he try and change it?
Right. And how is Furry going to react to having his, very carefully constructed routine disrupted?
Right.
He seems like a guy that appreciates order, precision.
He does, doesn't he? But don't forget, Furry also has a history of embracing the unexpected.
That's true.
Remember, he chose to cultivate a relationship with millions of bees.
That's true.
That takes a certain openness to new experiences,
Yeah.
Willingness to adapt.
Yeah, you're right. I haven't thought of it that way. So maybe instead of clashing, they'll find a way to complement each other.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine Brosnan with his business school background bringing fresh marketing ideas to the table.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe he helps Furry streamline his production process,
Oh.
Introduce a little bit of technology
Okay.
while still, of course, respecting those traditional methods.
Okay, hold on. Picture this. Brosnan, in his safari hat,
Okay.
setting up an online store
Right.
for Furry's honey, complete with jazzy jingles
Yes.
and videos of bees doing synchronized swimming routines. Maybe not synchronized swimming, but you get the idea.
I can see it now. It could be this brilliant fusion of old and new,
Right.
tradition meeting innovation.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always the potential for things to go hilariously wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine Brosnan trying to learn the names of all of those bees? Or Furry trying to understand Brosnan's love for, whatever's trendy in Jakarta these days.
Oh, I know. The comedic possibilities, they're endless.
Right.
But beyond the laughs, this is a story about family, about connection, finding common ground. You've got these two bears from different worlds trying to understand each other and maybe, just maybe, learning a thing or two along the way.
Yeah, and let's not forget that mysterious letter.
Right.
We still don't really know what brought Brosnan to Ireland.
We don't.
Was it a genuine desire to learn the family business?
Yeah.
Or is there something more to it?
That's the question. And the source material very cleverly keeps us guessing. It's almost like, Chekhov's gun.
Right.
You introduce this letter from Jakarta, it's got to go off at some
Right.
point.
It adds this layer of suspense.
Yes.
Keeps us hooked.
Exactly.
For now, though, let's kind of focus on the dynamic at play here.
Okay.
We've got Furry, the gruff, but kind of lovable honey expert.
Yeah.
Maybe a little set in his ways, but surprisingly adaptable.
And then you've got Brosnan, the jazzy, pawstan-loving nephew, full of new ideas. Yeah. And maybe a little naive about what it actually takes to run a honey farm. A little bit. Yeah. It really is a recipe for both heartwarming moments and hilarious mishaps. Yeah. Will Brosnan win over the bees with his charm? Right. Will Furry loosen up a little? Learn a new dance move? Will they discover a shared love for, well, anything?
Right. These are the questions that keep us coming back for more. But beyond, the entertainment factor, what does this story tell us about ourselves?
That's a good question.
About the world we live in.
I think it reminds us that even the most different individuals, right, can find common ground.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most unexpected pairings lead to growth, innovation, deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It's a message of hope.
It is.
Of the power of connection.
Yep.
Even in the face of, challenges and differences. And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire some of us to try a spoonful of honey in our tea.
Speaking of honey,
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious to explore Furry's unique production process in
Okay.
a little more detail. The source material mentions a special blend of wildflowers
Oh, that's right.
he uses,
Yeah.
something very specific to that region around Dublin.
And there was something about, like, a special type of hive he designed, like,
Yes.
to maximize bee happiness and honey production. I'm eager to kind of delve into those details, but first,
Yeah.
let's address the elephant, or I guess polar bear, in
Hmm.
the room. So we talked about Furry, the gruff honey aficionado with a heart of gold,
Yeah.
and Brosnan, the nephew who's more at home in a jazz club than like a beehive.
Right, right.
But what about the heart of it all?
Okay.
The honey itself.
Yes.
What makes Furry's honey so special?
That's where the real magic is, you see. It's not just about the bees, it's the whole ecosystem he's cultivated. He's incredibly meticulous about the wildflowers he plants. Sources seeds that have been passed down through, generations of Irish beekeepers.
Wow. It's almost like he's creating this symphony of flavors,
Yes.
with each flower contributing a unique note
Beautiful.
to the final product.
And then there's the hive design.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's actually patented this system that mimics natural bee habitats.
Okay.
So it's spacious, well-ventilated, has these built-in heating and cooling systems,
Wow.
powered by renewable energy.
So it's like high-tech, but also incredibly eco-conscious.
Yes, very furry.
Yeah, it's furry all over, right?
Yeah.
Tradition meeting innovation.
Exactly.
I'm curious, how does that blend of old and new sit with Brosnan?
Good question.
He's a business school grad, probably used to, like, spreadsheets and profit margins.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will he see the value in Furry's, kind of unconventional methods? Or will he try to, modernize the operation?
Right.
Maybe sacrificing quality for efficiency.
It's a classic dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it makes me think about the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a world that's obsessed with speed,
Right.
maximizing output, constant growth.
Yeah.
But Furry's honey farm it's a reminder that, sometimes the best things take time,
They do.
that quality and care are just as important
Absolutely.
as, like, profit margins.
It's a lesson we could all stand to learn.
Yeah.
I suspect it's one that Brosnan will learn, too.
Yeah.
Whether he realizes it at first or not. Remember, he's not just there for a work placement.
Right.
He's there to connect with family, to discover his roots.
And maybe, just maybe, he finds something even more valuable than business acumen,
Possibly.
like a sense of purpose,
Yeah.
a connection to something bigger than himself.
Now, let's not forget the looming mystery of that letter from Jakarta.
Oh, right, right.
We've speculated about its contents, but ultimately its meaning remains a secret, waiting to be revealed. It's like a Chekhov's gun, loaded with potential for drama,
Uh-huh.
comedy, or maybe even a really heartwarming twist.
It keeps us on the edge of our seats, wondering what impact it's going to have on this delicate ecosystem that Furry's created.
Yeah.
Will it bring chaos? Will it force him to confront his past?
Good questions.
Or will it ultimately strengthen the bond between, him and his nephew?
Who knows? I guess we'll have to keep wondering
Yeah.
as we wait for, the next chapter in this story.
Yeah.
But one thing is certain, it's a story that stays with you. It's a reminder that even in the most unexpected places, we can find connection, growth, and maybe even a jar of truly exceptional honey.
So as you go about your day, remember the image of a polar bear in a safari hat,
Okay.
navigating the world of beekeeping, with, a blend of enthusiasm and clumsiness.
Right.
Remember the gruff but dedicated bear who knows his bees by name.
Mm-hmm.
And that delicate bat.
Of tradition and innovation, that makes his honey so special. And most importantly, remember to savor the little moments, the unexpected connections, and those sweet rewards that come from embracing the journey, even when it's a little messy, a little unpredictable, and a lot more heartwarming than you ever imagine.
That's the beauty of a good deep dive, isn't it? It leaves us with more than just facts and figures. It leaves us with stories to ponder, questions to explore, and a renewed sense of wonder for the world around us. And sometimes, that's all the sweetness we need.